I asked myself how I ended up here, staring into eyes that I would never see grow up. The world was collapsing in real time, concrete and promises breaking at the same speed. But all I could hear were her cries, cutting through the chaos like a confession I didn't want to make. My mind didn't race forward. It stalled on all the firsts I was never going to be there for. First steps, first words, first lies she'd tell herself about who her father was. If I wanted answers, I couldn't look ahead. I had to rewind, back to the beginning, back to the night everything decided to go wrong. It started like any other night, the kind you don't bother remembering until it's already gone. Bedtime stories for my baby girl, a voice pretending the world was safe, while the lies tucked themselves in beside her. I carried her to bed, light as a promise I didn't deserve. I made sure the monsters stayed imaginary. Dinner was on the table, but the air had already gone cold. Mia and I felt it at the same time, that quiet pressure that tells you something ugly just clocked in. Then the lights died, like the house decided it didn't want to see what was coming. Someone picked the wrong door. Gunfire tore through the room. Mia went down in pieces of noise and disbelief, and the man holding the trigger wasn't a stranger. It was Chris. Before I could find words, he took my baby like evidence. A hard knock followed. Blackness closed in, fast and final. I didn't know why he did it, but I was going to learn, and I wasn't planning on forgiving anyone along the way. I stumbled into a village that looked like it had already given up on being saved. Wood rotting in place,
What happened?
snow choking the streets, and looming over it all, a castle watching like a judge who already knew the verdict. Every instinct told me not to go that way, which meant that's exactly where my feet were headed. I ran into an old man, shaking like he'd already lived through the ending. Eyes wide, breath broken, terror clinging to him like frostbite. I didn't understand what had done that to him. I didn't have to wait long to learn.
Cue the fucking montage, baby.
Before I could catch my breath, I was boxed in by snarls and shadows. Lichens, or something close enough to make the distinction pointless. Teeth bared, hunger loud enough to hear over the wind. Then the cavalry showed up, not to save me, to complicate things. I figured he didn't appreciate watching his brother take his final breath in the snow. Grief twisted into something heavier, something meaner. He locked eyes with me, daring me to look away. I didn't. I held his stare long enough to remind him of two things: who fired the first shot and who was going to be standing when this war finally ran out of blood. They scattered without warning, like the night decided it had better things to do. No explanations, no mercy. That was a problem I'd survive long enough to regret later. I found a group of survivors clinging to each other like the world hadn't already written them off. I'd seen this story before. It always starts with relief, and it always ends the same way.
We have to go!
Let her go!
Lena?
I said no!
Come on, it'll hold.
We found the exit, but she couldn't bring herself to trust it.
Father?
Hope is a dangerous thing when it's all you've got left.
Not anymore.
She still believed her father might be alive, clinging to the idea like it could bleed. She'd seen the monster he'd become, watched humanity peel off him piece by piece. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was the kind of weakness that kills heroes, the human kryptonite.
Why the fuck is this happening again? Shit!
The deeper I went into the castle, the air got heavier, like the walls were listening. That's where I met him, a walking ego wrapped in stolen power, a knockoff god with delusions too big for the room he was standing in. He talked about plans, big ones. They weren't surprised to see me. They knew I was coming. They knew exactly who I was here for.